Another team is mad at the San Francisco Giants. Gabe Kapler has a no mercy rule. We've explained this before. The Padres and Bob Melvin, of all people, were angry with him. But now, this past weekend, they're playing the Nats. They're up 7-0 in the eighth. They had a stolen base attempt. Now, it ended up being there was a fly ball and it doubled up, and so there was a double play on that. 7-1 in the ninth. You saw Thairo Estrada took off on a hit and run, tried to score. They threw him out, but the Nationals are upset. Now, we kicked this around, and Ruben, I'll just say, they're playing all out. The Giants have said it. Gabe Kapler has said it, saying that we're going to do everything we can to play all 9 innings in order to use some of your bullpen, punish you a little bit, make you use more players, because we don't want to just win this game. We want to win this series. Where are you on this?
Well, I understand that thought process. I don't necessarily believe it. It kind of depends on how you get there, in my estimation. I think in the one situation, you had there was a 6-run 9th inning, and then you're trying to steal a base. With the first baseman playing behind, I think he's risking having his players get hurt. I know that people talk about, well, these unwritten rules, they shouldn't be thrown in there. I got to tell you that.
Hurt how?
I think that they're going to get beaned. I think that they're going to
go
after
them. If someo's throwing a baseball at them, that's their problem, not the Giants' problem.
I'm just telling you, I believe that's what's going to happen, and I think he's putting his players at risk. I really do. Let's say just that Mr. Crawford gets drilled and breaks his hand, and now he can't play because they have decided to try to run up scores. Now what do? Who are they? They're just going to throw another shortstop?
Yes, but isn't the problem they're throwing and trying to break Brandon Crawford's hand and not they're running in the ninth inning?
I just want to make sure I'm with you. What we want to defend against is immature idiots who stink at the game, and they're losing big. So now we have to protect. You're not doing your job, so you're going to hit me for doing my job. By the way, I was at a game yesterday, Ruben. The score was 10-0 in the 9th inning. They brought in a kid to try to finish it out, the Yankees, gave up a couple of runs and a couple of base runners. He had to get a legitimate reliever begin to warm up in the game. Maybe if it's 14-0, he doesn't. I'm trying to win the series and the season. I don't care about your feelings. I'm managing my team. You manage your team. You have 2 choices as the manager in your team in that situation. Number 1, you could stop scoring. If you agree to stop scoring, I'll stop scoring. Or here's the other one. You could try to stop me from scoring. This is what the game is about. You have done a lousy job as a major league team. One other thing. We have treated the players like robots now who have to produce numbers. The arbitrators at the end of the year don't go, well, these numbers came in a blowout. They just look at the numbers. If I could produce numbers against you and I'm a player, I'm going to do it.
Go ahead, Rick.
Listen, I understand the argument. I don't agree with it. Listen, I think there's an etiquette to the game that should be upheld. And when you have the best ERA in all of baseball, which San Francisco Giants bullpen did have, when you're up 6 or 7 runs and you're beating the pants off of a club, I think it's time.
But Ruben, you were in the dugout.
I'm not saying don't shut down.
Right.
I'm not saying don't shut down. You know, if a guy gets a base hit and it hits the ball into the gap, then you should score a run. I totally agree with that. But if there's somebody playing behind you and you're stealing a base and the game is basically over, I don't think.
But it's not over because if it gets close enough, I'm sure as both a general manager and a coach and a player, there were games you were winning handily, and they begin, even if you win them, they tighten up where you have to use players you don't want, or I don't get to take my star off the field for the last 3 innings of the game. My thing is, if I'm managing a team and I'm losing 14-0, that's my problem. I'm not going to make it your problem.
All right, 14-0. There's a place for sportsmanship, right? I think we understand that. And we've seen it when teams are humiliating another club. Just that it's not their day. They're getting wiped out. It's an embarrassment. I don't think the game against the Nats or the Padres reached that point. 7-1 is not humiliating. 7-1 is right. A 3-run home run is hit. Next thing you know, you have to get real relief pitchers up there, and it's on a Friday night, and you're playing a 3-game series. This seems to be legitimate competition still.
Again, there are certain circumstances I don't disagree with. There are others, like the last game when they won 12-3, and it was a 6-run 9th inning. And he's stealing the base. I mean, the baseball gods, I was so glad he got thrown out at home plate. I mean, the baseball gods were sitting there watching him going, you can't be doing that. And that's one of the reasons why I got thrown out.
But the reality is there are actually not basal gods, right? There's just baseball.
There's karma.
Well, you know what? I'm going to, again, like when Juwan Howard did the thing during the basketball season where he was complaining about somebody else calling a timeout when his team is pressing late in the game. How about you coach your team? and I'll coach mine. And part of your thing should be, Juwan Howard's team is losing by 15 points. Why are you making this about me? Your team is losing by a lot of runs. Stop me from scoring.
So if that's the case,
the key to the game is it's a competition.
He's our guest. Let him go.
So wait a minute. So if that's the case, then he should be prepared. Then when he does that the manager decides that he wants to drill a couple guys.
But
or
that's
do what he wants.
illegal.
But that's the problem.
It's not illegal
That's the problem.
to stop. You're suggesting doing something illegal when I'm doing something legal, which is just playing baseball.
But again, it's just a choice, right? We're making
But it's
choices.
not a choice. It's illegal.
Yeah, but wait, one choice.
Then he has to suffer the consequences of that.
But
Yeah,
the consequences are illegal consequences.
Right. It's
But
one is choosing.
But if the guy gets hurt and then he doesn't have the player,
but this is about diaper rash, Ruben. This is about being oversensitive.
All right.
But the bottom line is, if they lose their player, then they're going to be in trouble.
But they're losing their player for an illegal act.
Doesn't matter.
The distinction is right. Now, ethically, what's the right call here? And a team is saying, we're going to keep playing baseball. And while another team is saying, we're going to try to physically hurt you when you can't defend yourself by throwing a baseball at you. That's so clearly wrong. I know that's how things can get settled, but I would like to think that there are baseball gods and that there is karma. And as we say in the boxing business, all debts get paid, right? And so maybe at a certain point, the Giants are getting humiliated. And I think this is the better comparison. And when that happens, someone's going to keep the foot on their throat.
And they should.
Right. And that is justice. But not throwing at somebody's head.
And I don't think that will happen. I don't think that Bob Melvin's going to turn around and during a 12-3 game, he's going to start running it up. He won't do it. That's not the way he manages a game.
All right,
because that's his choice.
Let's ask the people what they think out there. A thinking fan out there. We'll have some of your responses here at MLB Now. And if you agree with the no mercy rule by Gabe Kapler, they've come out and said it, right? Bunting 11-2. This is on April 12th against San Diego. Was that Dubon? That was Mauricio Dubon. Mauricio Dubon's hitting 211.
And I really like that player.
Ruben, come on, right.
I like the player. I just don't agree with the move.
So again, Gabe Kapler said we're going to continue to play all 9. You see, they ran there with 7-0. They're trying to score 7-1. It's only 7-1. But all right, Ruben, you disagree with it.
I don't have a problem.
Joel, no. And Mad Dog disagrees with it. So all right, so there's some people that disagree with it. Do you agree with the Giants' strategy with big leagues so far this season? Go ahead quickly.
Just quickly, this is the major leagues. I'm a major league team. If I scored 7 runs in an inning, shouldn't you be able to score 7 in an inning? I want a defense against you doing exactly what I've done by making as big a lead as possible.
This happens in the NFL. I just read Bill Belichick saying this
but there's a clock in the NFL.
But Bill Belichick was saying at the highest level of this sport, you play. That's it. It's not, if we're playing Legion ball, you're playing youth league baseball. It's like, no, don't do that. You're up 7-1. We're fine. Don't embarrass these guys from another town. This is Major League Baseball. I know we disagree a little bit.
Yeah,
you can't be right all the time, Ruben.
No, it's okay. We can agree to disagree. I got no problem with that. I think to me, it's how do they get there? I don't have a problem with them trying to score an extra run if a guy gets a base hit or a double into the gap. I got no problem with that. But when you're stealing bases and you're doing those sorts of things, when clearly the team is allowing them to do that, I just think that's wrong.
I disagree with that, but I know what you're saying. There is a line for Bush League play. When you're watching it, you're seeing it and saying, that's Bush League. You don't have to do that. But I don't think the Giants crossed it. All right. Good conversation.